Cars 2 is just as personal of a story as Cars 1. Cars 2, first of all, the world of cars being alive comes from my love of cars, which I got from my father. My father worked for a Chevrolet dealership. Chevrolet is an American car company, and he was the manager of the parts department. So when I was a kid, I always would go to the parts department in the car dealership and look at the new cars, and then I worked there as a teenager, and I got my love of cars from him. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is that I wanted Cars 2 to be very different than the original. And so this is, it's a spy movie. And that's very personal because when I was a little boy growing up in America, there was a TV show that was so cool to me. It was called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And I lived for that show. I just loved it. And it gave me this deep love of this genre of film. And I have 5 sons now. We are huge fans of the 3 Bourne movies. You know, Bourne Identity, Supremacy, and Ultimatum. And we've watched them, I don't know, 25 times or something like that. And we can always watch that. My wife gets, yeah, have you seen it enough? But we love that. And so I was really interested in putting that in there. But at the core of each Pixar film is heart. Well, spy movies typically don't have heart. You know, you kind of feel for the characters, but I wanted to have a heart in this film. And we took a look at, I didn't want Lightning McQueen to just relearn what he did in the first movie, because that's something I learned, is the journey in life is a reward. That's where he's at the beginning of Cars 2. So what could we have? So we looked at the relationship between Flash McQueen and Martin. You know, we call him Mater, but in France it's Martin. And it's this relationship. And this is something I experienced myself, in the sense of at times, you know, I feel a little out of place. You know, I'm sort of just I'm a big kid. I always wear jeans and a Hawaiian shirt no matter where I'm at. And I just, as I go around to these elegant places around the world, I feel out of place a lot of times. There was, our first research trip for Cars 2, we wanted to go to a Formula One race in Italy, so we went to the Italian Grand Prix. It was set in Monza, outside of Milan. The Red Bull Formula One team were so fantastic. They opened their doors. They really let us see all the aspects of their team. And they invited us to their fancy, elegant party 2 nights before the race. It was at the Milan Museum of Modern Art. Well, I put on my best, my sport coat over my Hawaiian shirts and my jeans, and we went to the party. And I walked in and I realized, wait, this is Milan. This is the home of Armani, right? And the whole party was full of models and fancy, and just everybody dressed to kill, and it was gorgeous, and the lighting, and it was like all this modern art and stuff. And oh boy, I felt like Martin. I was totally out of place at this party. But I sort of said, I'm going to remember this emotion, this feeling, because this is, I think, what could be in the new movie. So even with a sequel like Cars 2, even being a spy movie, is still a very, very personal, you know, story for me as the director. It was really fun to take Paris and to make a car version of Paris. And the scene behind me is my gift to my wife, Nancy. Years ago, we were in Paris. It's one of our favorite cities. It's very romantic. And we were staying on the left bank. And we were going to visit our good friend, Michel Ocelot. He's the brilliant French animation director, at his home, and we were going to have dinner with him. He gave us directions to walk. And he had us walk across the Pont des Arts Bridge. And on the directions, he said, walk across the bridge, stop, halfway, turn, and kiss. Then continue on. It was on his directions. And we were laughing, and so we got to and we turned and kissed, and we turned around and realized where we were at. The single most romantic spot in the world, at least to Nancy and I. So every time, it became our spot, and every time we traveled to Paris, we'd go to the center of the Pont des Arts Bridge and kiss. And so as I was bringing to life Paris in Cars 2, making a car version of that, I had to have a car version of the Pont des Arts Bridge with two cars kissing. And my wife's favorite color is lavender. A beautiful lavender Citroën DS is her. And I'm the older Citroën, the Deux Chevaux, which I love so much too. So that's my gift to my wife. Well, actually, from the beginning, I asked Brad Lewis to come in to co-direct with me, because I have two roles. I'm Chief Creative Officer, and I direct movies. And I was always going to be working on Cars 2. But early on, he had such a great knowledge of car racing and cars and all this. I really asked him to do a lot of the research that I couldn't do, the trips, and start the early development. And I would then always be overseeing it, but I stepped in. So he was really instrumental in the beginning of this film to really kind of figure out all the different things that we didn't know anything about, all the different types of racing and the styles, and do a lot of that research, because we had teams that were traveling all over the world doing research, and so he was helping me with that.